Saturday morning cartoons.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live on location with Tyler, Avatar expert. We're back with another random Avatar topics episode.
Yeah, very, very random this time. So we're just talking basically about random theories that other people have proposed and other random theories that we might have kind of from the shows that are definitely unconfirmed. A lot of this is going to be just probably utter nonsense.
Yeah. A lot like the Toph is a Nepo baby episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just a lot of little things in the show that people blow up and make you think about more. But okay, the first one I want to talk about, it's just a screenshot from TikTok, but we did the Earthbender episode where Toph is the goat. She wins everything, right?
Yeah, she wins absolutely everything.
There is an episode in Legend of Korra, Korra Alone, where she meets Toph.
Yeah.
And I never really thought about it before or noticed it, but when she is cooking over the fire, it looks like she might lavabend under it to cook.
Yeah, because it doesn't actually look like coals, does it? Now that I think about it, it doesn't look like coals, and it doesn't look like there's wood under there.
It really just kind of seems like lava.
It really actually does kind of look like lava, which would make Toph, for sure, because like they go through a whole thing of like, if you're a metal bender, you're not really going to be able to lava bend, and if you're a lavabender, you're not going to really be able to metal bend. And Bolin went through his
that was his whole arc,
his whole saga, and his whole arc. And if Toph is just like goated, and she's like, bro, I can sand bend, I can mud bend, I can make those mud slurries. And then she is also a metal bender. And then she's a lava bender, bro. And then, like, in that episode where Sokka gets, like, his space Earth or whatever. That's what they called it, space Earth.
They had to call it space Earth.
But, like, it was totally, like, asteroid, other material that was not from Earth.
Really,
that she is bending. So, bro, anything that I just feel like is, I don't know, maybe carbon-based?
Yeah. It really opens it up a lot.
It seems like Toph can bend, and if she can bend anything carbon-based, I feel like there's not much stopping her from doing, like, skin bending or something, or, like bending bones. And I know there's a whole thing about, like, they could bend the iron in your blood, but that's not, I really don't subscribe to that very much.
Tough.
But, like, I definitely could see her maybe doing like bones with like calcium and like minerals that are in the earth or something, but just like impale you from the inside out. But like, if Toph can lava bend, which I mean, in that scene, it looks like she might be able to. And like, I want to see Prime Toph so bad.
Yeah, that's just first of all, she's cold enough to have learned lava bending and metal bending. Like there's a whole specific thing about how they don't cross, but Toph
just breaks every rule.
She doesn't count. Yeah.
Breaks every rule, bro. Breaks every rule.
Yeah, she revolutionized everything.
Money really does buy everything, folks.
It does. Nepotism. No, but I guess I'd never thought about it. It really, that little scene is just kind of thrown in there and it's moved on and you don't really talk about it much more. But like the implications of like her being able to lava bend and like you're right, she probably could bend the calcium in motherfuckers' bones. Like, it's nuts, the implications, man.
Space Earth, bro. Like, Space Earth.
Space Earth.
Okay, let's say an asteroid is hurtling towards the Earth and it's about to, like, blow up the whole planet. Toph just goes, boom.
Yeah. Dang, that's true. Yeah, what is the limits of her power? Like, she could
be like a planetary destroyer, bro. She could be the destroyer of worlds.
Dog, they should have, when the comet came, they should have just had some Earthbenders push that shit back into space. They really fumbled.
Only Toph has ever moved it, though.
Oh, that's true. That's true. It'd have to be Toph and Boomy would be the only ones that could even think about it.
Like, and, like, maybe other Earthbenders, like Comet coming, just like, I don't know what their range is, but just throw up spikes or something.
Yeah. Dang, I never thought about it. Yeah, the Space Earth thing is so...
Which, by the way, I feel like Earthbenders are actually just the most OP benders in the whole universe anyway. You don't see them doing it very often, but it happens a few times. Bro, you just bend because everything's rooted in stances and things like that. They just bend the earth right under people's feet.
Yes, dude.
Like, pretty much the only one that could fight an Earthbender would be an Airbender at that point.
Yeah, Earthbenders, they can be OP in combat, man. Like Toph's move against the boulder was that thing. General Fong got Katara with the thing.
Even Toph on that one is like doing the thing where like she kicks the earth and then it, like sends like almost a missile and then like makes it into splits or whatever. But like you see in a couple of split scenes where it doesn't even have to like kick and go through the earth. It's just like you're standing way over there and I just all of a sudden like. Poof.
That's fair. Yeah. Like in Korra, there is the scene when Bolin and Varric. There's when Bolin and Varric they've defected from Kavira's army and they like run into the refugees that are trying to fight them. They have a line where like Bolin's like, okay, we're fighting. And he does the lava between them. And then the refugees are like, okay, we don't want to fight. You know, we believe you're not in Kavira's army. And the dialogue that is said is like, if he wanted us dead, he would have just liquefied the earth beneath our feet. Like, so apparently, like, that's a thing in canon that, like, Earthbenders do that shit all the time. Like, they really are OP in a lot of different ways.
I feel like they kind of take the cake with, like, combat, especially if you're going, like, combat that's not enhanced by, like, Sozin's Comet or, like, Full Moon or something like that, which, I mean, do Earthbenders have a thing like that, like Firebenders? And
I couldn't imagine what it would be.
I don't know.
I don't know what
Earthquake.
It would be. Earthquake, maybe, bro. I don't know. Yeah, when it comes to like the combat, like Earth is so much better just all around as a
defensive and offensive.
Yeah. Like the only thing fire really has over Earth is being able to create the element. Like they're the only ones that can really create what they're bending, which can make it OP for sure. But like earthbending, there's so many practical applications of earthbending. Like in combat and in defensive and in farming and anything, man. The postal service, shit. Like it's insane what they can do. Like it's a whole just industry, you know.
Like I feel like that's just glossed over how like especially because like I feel like also they're the most plentiful kind of bender. Because the Earth Kingdom, the Earth Kingdom's so much bigger than everything else.
This is the Fire Nation. Like this is the Fire Nation.
Yeah. And then, like, the air temples are, like, these little islands and things like that.
Like here,
and the water tribe, North, South Pole, and the South Pole, all of them are wiped out pretty much.
Yep.
And then the Earth Kingdom's like, all of this.
Like, the Siwang Desert itself is bigger than all of the freaking Fire Nation. Like, And then, I mean, it's no mistake that outside of the scope of the show, which is 13 months or whatever of Avatar history, like, the Earth Kingdom has been the dominant kingdom. Like the Earth Kingdom has ran shit for hundreds and hundreds of years, except the tiny glimpse of ATLA.
Yeah, because like under Kyoshi's reign, nobody was messing with him for sure.
Yeah. Like it was during Kyoshi's reign, the Fire Nation was down bad. Like the water tribes were so cut off. Like they had real bad pirate problems back in the Kyoshi days. The water tribes did. Yeah, it was. The Earth Nation really is slept on in the grand scheme of things when it comes to Avatar discussion.
All right, so next theory, what do we got?
The next one is just talking about Aang and Korra being like generational rare prodigies instead of being like
just like a normal run-of-the-mill Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because both of them started learning the other elements so dang young compared to... Because, I mean, most of the time you don't even know you're the Avatar until at least 16, right? Yeah,
first of all.
That's just like standard practice for whatever reason. I'm not sure why they put that in there, but...
I don't know.
Because is that a just traditional, like, everybody thing, or is that like an only air nomad thing?
I think they told Roku on his 16th birthday because they shared him and Sozin shared a birthday.
Yeah, him and Sozin shared it,
So I think it's just tradition.
I think it's just tradition, and so, like, you know, Aang being able to learn the other elements at 11, now granted, like, he didn't know anything before he knew he was the Avatar and stuff, but they had to tell him early because of, you know, the stuff that Fire Nation was plotting, and, you know, then he gets frozen and, you know, all that kind of thing, but... And then Korra, bro, like, I feel like, so, like, while Aang is a prodigy, Like, Korra's just, like, on another level.
She is. She's been in 3 elements as a toddler. Like, it's insane.
As a toddler. And the only reason she can't do air is because of the spiritual connection that she just lacks. She's just so physically in tune with it. Mm-hmm. And so, while I don't really like Korra as an avatar personally, definitely one of the, like, absolutely most like prodigy talent type
unbelievable things. Yeah, they were so like, for them being the shows, of course it wouldn't be nearly as interesting or as cool to focus on like a lamer avatar, but like they're 2 of, just in the history of avatars, they're 2 of the biggest prodigies back to back. Like Roku took so long to learn
Roku
anything.
Was like 30 when he was learning earthbending.
He was like years and years to master. And same with Kuruk. He died young, but I mean it took him a long time to master the elements as well. Like, there was no rush or
and even
urgency.
Even like with Aang, because, you know, you always have the one element that's harder for you to master that's like the opposite element of yours. So, like, Aang's was earthbending because, like, you know, air nomad, light, evasive, you know, that kind of thing where earth is, you know, rooted and stand your ground and that kind of crap. And, like, even Aang learned earthbending, like, relatively quickly.
He really did. And even though Toph said like that he hadn't mastered it by the end when Zuko flips out and attacks Aang or whatever. Like, he still had a damn good, enough of a mastery that in the episode where he builds the zoo, he is on his air scooter and earthbending stuff simultaneously, which is just nuts. That is a nuts thing. Dude, I love it's insane. It's so good, dude.
It's so good.
Yeah. So really, just in the grand scheme of things, Aang and Korra are just unbelievable level talent.
Well, and then so you take that into account, right? So fire is going to be the opposite of water, and Korra's doing that shit as a toddler.
Yeah, she got it down.
Like, she figured it out.
It's her most used element. Fire is. She uses fire more than anything else throughout the show.
Which, I mean, makes sense because she's so angry and aggressive all the time, and you know that's why she ends up losing 3 elements. And then eventually her entire spiritual connection to all the past avatars, but there was only room for one more statue. So,
dude, yeah, that's true. That's a funny thing to talk about. Also, is like Korra lost the connection to the avatar, and then like somebody will reply to this with the scene of her getting the air ripped out of her lungs and just like getting poisoned, and they're like, yeah, she let them take the connection. Like, Aang's getting fucking pieced as well. He is definitely not winning this situation.
Yeah, for sure. For certain.
Another thing that we kind of touched on in the firebending episode that I don't know if it'll be out yet or not, but we talked about Admiral Zhao.
Yeah.
And I actually found the screenshot that I was trying to reference in that episode. But it is in Legend of Korra when he makes his appearance. He's in the Fog of Lost Souls, which is like something in the spirit world. And it says the fact that Zhao's been in there for decades and he still has complete focus on his mission, while Aang's kids start to lose themselves within a matter of hours, speaks volumes to the sheer willpower that Admiral Zhao has. And that's true, because he's like, is he that strong of a firebender in the grand scheme of things? Not
Absolutely
exactly.
Not really. No. Not really, but dude, man is determined.
Yeah, fairly incompetent as a leader also. Like, he just really
wasted the Yuyan archers.
Yeah. The coldest freaking, they were insane for that one little episode they were in and never mentioned again. But yeah, he his willpower is insane, but that dude is just incompetent in every other way.
Well, dude, and like he's like, bro, I'm gonna kill the water tribe, and if it had not been for the freaking ocean spirit possessing Aang, he absolutely would have.
He succeeded, man. Okay, so I'm glad you bring that up, because the live action Netflix does something that I think the cartoon did not do very well at all, which is when Aang goes into the spirit oasis, does his fist thing, he merges with the spirit.
He merges with it.
He knew the consequences. He was not going to be able to undo that.
Yeah.
Like, he had given his life to keep the balance of the world, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But they don't tell you that in the cartoon. They don't exactly tell you what he's doing.
Yeah.
But in the live action,
they're like, bro ain't coming back.
Yeah, what's her name? The moon? Yue.
Yeah, not a K.
I think Yue has the little bit of exposition where she's like, he's given himself to the moon spirit, like this is permanent or whatever. Yeah. And then, obviously she gives her life because she has the moon spirit in her. But I thought that was such a cool freaking part of the live action I never realized just what he was doing when he went into the Koizilla mode. Like, he really has just surrendered himself completely.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I love the live action so much, and I think it expands so much more on the cartoon. And I have a lot of respect for it. I know some people don't, and some people don't like it as much as the cartoon because the source material can be a little bit different.
Yeah.
But dude, I think it fleshes out the world so
there
much
were
better.
There were too many changes that I loved to not like the live action, like the 41st Division, the Commander Zhao stuff. They fleshed him out so much more.
Azula even.
Azula was good. Yeah.
Yeah, you actually see Azula in the first season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Koizilla thing at the end was just so badass.
Oh, dude,
it was so cool. It was so cool.
Yeah.
That being said, though, with the Netflix live action, I wanted to also rank 1 through 8 the seasons of Avatar and Korra. So all 3 books from Avatar, the 4 books from Korra, and the first season of Netflix Avatar.
Oh boy, that's gonna be a tough one.
That's gonna be a tough one.
So let's go from the bottom up. I think that's gonna be easier.
Bottom up.
Bottom
okay.
up. So what's your bottom?
My bottom, probably Korra season 2, the Unalaq Dark Avatar.
Yeah, Unalaq Dark Avatar.
Yeah, that's probably my 8.
Now is that the one, the Dark Avatar one? Is that where we get Wan's backstory too?
We do. That is by far the highlight of the season.
Because see, that's the only part of that season that I even really care about at all. And I love that part, but I don't think it saves the whole season for me.
Not in the slightest.
I love the Avatar Wan stuff, but like Unalaq and all that crap, it was trash.
It's just, and especially like the final fight being huge Spirit Korra versus huge Spirit. Yeah,
it felt lame and kind of like a cop out.
It got a little Digimon-esque, like with the villain. Like it was just kind of crazy. It got out of control.
I think that would be my bottom as well.
Season 2.
Yeah.
My number 7, probably Netflix Avatar. Even as good as it was, it's still tough to touch many of the other seasons of the show.
Yeah, I'm similar, but I have one more below that, and that is season 4 of Korra.
Season 4 of Korra,
like
that's fair.
That's fair. Kuvira one, I just wasn't a big fan, man. It's just like, hey, let's write this Earth Kingdom Hitler, and
and it's another thing too
like
that I didn't like.
It felt lazy after Amon because it felt like a very similar thing to the first season with Amon.
Yeah, and just a way lamer version of it. Yeah. And the one thing I didn't like about Kuvira's season was the end fight is this giant mech.
Yeah.
But they don't tell you that all of that stuff comes from Zhaofu's domes, right? It's just a big metal mech that she has now, right?
Yeah.
I hated that. They should have made it more clear that that's where that giant mech came from.
Yeah, Korra's season is definitely below the Netflix Avatar for me. So, then what's your next one?
My number 6 is that season. Season 4 of Korra, Kuvira's season.
Kuvira's season. See, in my next one, this is going to be really, really controversial. It's Avatar season 1.
Is it? Okay. That's my next one.
Avatar season 1, just stuck in the eye. It feels really corny at the very beginning sometimes.
It's a slow start, dude.
It's a little bit of a slow
start.
Don't get me wrong. It's got to flesh out the beginnings and everything like that, but it's just a little slow for me.
If it's your first time watching it, you definitely need every ounce of info.
It's got the Great Divide in it, and that's what knocks it down for sure.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, if it's your first view, it's great stuff. But if it's like your 10th viewing, it's kind of a slog to get through sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that.
And then after Avatar season 1, that would be where Netflix Avatar is for me.
Oh, okay. Netflix Avatar is that high for you. Okay. So we're on number 5. My number 5 is ATLA Book 1.
ATLA Book 1.
Yeah.
So we have very similar ones, just a little bit of a different order. My Netflix is a little bit. I just really enjoyed it, and I can't wait for the rest of it. Oh my!
It's gonna be good.
Gosh, especially when they get to book 3, bro.
Dude.
Oh,
it's gonna be so good. Yeah, just any fight in the Avatar state is gonna be so freaking.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild.
Man.
Oh man, yeah.
It's good. My 4, I'm going probably. The Amon season, probably. Korra season 1 is my next one.
Yeah, Korra season 1 is also my next one. The Amon season. Love it. so good. The blood bending, especially with how talented Amon is, they flesh out the character so well, and you had no idea. Like, you had no idea who he was, and then whenever you figure out he's like the councilman's brother and like all of that stuff, bro, it's wild. And
it's an awesome season because it feels like it's so suspenseful. Like, he is a villain that is not just like a faceless bad guy like Ozai was for 3 seasons. Like, he is a badass. He is murking people, taking their bending away. He's menacing.
Taking their bending away, bro.
He's such a good freaking villain.
Avatars you've seen do that, and freaking like he can, you know, like we were talking about, like so the greatest bloodbending feat we've ever seen was Still Yukon. Because he bends the freaking whole council room at one time without a full moon.
Some of the strongest benders in the world, he's just laying them down at the same time.
Yeah, and so like, but Amon can, you know, bend multiple people at the same time. We've seen him do it. But, like, just it's an insane level of power.
It may not even necessarily be that hard of a thing to do because Hama, who's at the bottom of our list, she had Sokka and Aang like flying at each other, and that's how Katara had to learn to stop them. Yeah. Like, even she was pretty weak for a bloodbender, and she was throwing people around no problem.
Yeah.
Like,
wild.
Number 4. What do you got?
Number 4 for me. Oh, this is where it starts getting dicey, because this for me is between ATLA Book 2 and the Red Lotus season.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 2 I'm in between right now, I think. I think I'm going to give it to the Red Lotus season, actually.
Like the Red Lotus season?
I love that, and the villains are so badass.
They're so good, man.
They're so good, and like even the motivation, and dude, for Z, and you know, we're going to do a non-bender episode soon, but like for Zahir to be like one of the most wanted people and not even be a bender...
Yes.
Like, that's how dangerous the guy was?
Dude, he was just next level. Because as an airbender, he was trash. Like, he really was not that good. Even though he could do a technique that one other airbender in history could do. He was just a really good martial artist that instead of just throwing at the end of his punch, he could throw an air blast. Yep. Like, that was what Zahir was. He was an unbelievable, like, to be locked up.
He just had a few hours, pretty much, or a few days.
Yeah. Just to be locked up by the White Lotus and a non-bender like that is crazy. Like a max security specially made prison is insane.
Yeah.
Like
it's wild. But yeah, I'll give it to Red Lotus season, and then my number what would it be?
I think we're on 3.
So yeah, then no, I think
that
2? Was my 3.
That was your 3. I'm lost. I think I have 3 left. I've got.
Because I've went through all my Korra seasons.
Okay. All right. My 3 then, I've got to put Avatar Book 3 is my number 3.
Oh.
Really? Because I love the finale. It's great. But comparing it to season 2, it's not Toph. Toph's season is the freaking tops for me.
Gotcha.
And then I think, so 3 is Avatar Book 3. My 2 is Korra season 3, The Red Lotus. And then my 1 is Avatar Book 2.
Yeah, see, my number 2. My number 2 is, you know what? Now that I start actually thinking about it, I think I'd actually put Book 3 at number 2 and Book 2 at number 1.
Okay.
Because like, there's so many, like, you know, you have the Tale of Ba Sing Se in season 2. You have Zuko Alone.
Yep.
You have all of, you know, the introduction.
Everything in the desert.
Yeah, you have the Siwang Desert. You have like. You have just all of that stuff. You have Appa's kidnapping, and
the blind bandit. You get to see the
boulder, the wrestlers, and the boulder, and you see, oh man, and then you start actually seeing Azula, and the crazy fights and I feel like also season 2 is whenever you really start seeing Iroh come into full character.
Yeah, season 2. Yeah, I think that's a good ranking. Season 2. It's so damn good. 3 wraps it up beautifully, but 2 really, really ramps shit up, man.
I was gonna say the fights are definitely best in season 3 of Avatar.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the last Agni Kai and the Ozai versus Aang finale is you can't top it. Yeah. You can't top it. Other than that, I had just one more thing. So we talked about in our Netflix episode, we had talked about how they made the change to Iroh's really crude joke to June about So I read a theory on it here on Reddit the other day, and it had interpreted the scene in just a way I never really read it before.
Which I read that, and read that because, like, I think it makes so much sense because you never see Iroh do another thing ever like that.
Yes, there was it's such an out of character thing that it makes so much sense now that somebody put it this way, but I'd never thought of it before.
That's even like the Iroh thing I was talking about the other day with Ozai that you were like, oh, I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah. I'd never thought on morals. Like I always thought he was talking about pure strength, that Ozai was a better,
Yeah, where Iroh says, I don't think I can beat Ozai.
Yeah, just a different way. Let me read this here. So this is in regards to when, like, June has is it called a Nursnu or something?
The Banshu.
Something like, whatever has the tongue that paralyzes you.
Yeah,
so
the anteater looking thing.
Yeah, so basically the context is...
Shearshu, that's what it is.
Shearshu, okay, yeah. So it's at that point, and it's talking about how Iroh needs to take himself out of this fight because even though he's with Zuko, he's not trying to help Zuko capture the Avatar. He's trying to help Zuko find himself. And so he just kind of conveniently is always not really involved in the fight in the first couple seasons.
Even though he could just, like, destroy it.
Even though at any time he's the best bender there. Yeah. So especially in this scenario. So it says, Iroh knows that he could probably 1v3 Team Avatar at this point. And he could also probably hug and pet Appa. But he doesn't need Zuko or the Beast to help. Like, he could take 1v3 Team Avatar, right?
Easily.
So why does he lay down? Well, his actions suggest that it's because she's objectively beautiful and lying on top of him. But if we take the rest of the scene and context into account, he needed to find a way to remove himself from that fight without getting injured and without risking Zuko's life and being obvious that he wasn't trying to,
He wasn't trying to show his skills.
Right. And so probably what happened, he was trying to get hit by, say the name of the animal?
The Shearshu.
Shearshu. He was trying to get hit by the Shearshu's tongue to paralyze himself, to take himself out of the fight. But what happened was June got hit by it and falls on top of him, and he just has to go with it. That's pretty much like the context of this comment. So
the only thing that I see, so Iroh was kind of hitting on her before this point, though, too, if you remember that.
Oh, was he? Okay.
So, like, because whenever him and Zuko first meet her, he's like, the beautiful,
Fair.
But, like, I'm almost wondering if Iroh knew that Zuko was gonna have to hire this bounty hunter, and he was even laying the foundation for that far ahead of time, because like Iroh's just like a tactical strategist and a genius. Because like my thing is even whenever he was like original Siege of Ba Sing Se, right?
Yeah.
I'm not so sure that he was really trying to take Ba Sing Se. Because I feel like if he really wanted to, he would have done it.
Yeah, I don't know though, because that's such a 600 and something days of siege. He had to have lost so many soldiers. That'd be tough for him to.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
I don't know.
Maybe
it was
maybe it was a thing before he'd become enlightened and all of that kind of stuff. But but maybe then Iroh wasn't that strong. Maybe that was before he learned from the dragons.
That's true. We really don't have any idea what level bender he is.
Because I don't know when exactly it is that he starts getting referred to as the Dragon of the West. I don't know if it was before. I think it should have had to be before Ba Sing Se, though, hey?
It would have had to be, yeah. So maybe that was his thing, is he was like a real
maybe he
angry
had just gotten enlightened and he was doing like his conflicted feelings with Zuko, and that's what he was trying to get Zuko to work out because he knew how hard it was for himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like with Iroh's character, that would make a little sense.
It could make sense.
But like he wasn't like, he was like saying that she was pretty and stuff, even though she was young, but like also, like, if you look at, like, because the Fire Nation is based off of Japanese culture. That's not a very unusual thing in Japanese culture. And, like, you watch other anime and stuff like that, and that's kind of one of the general tropes is, having a kind of older,
creepy older
guy. You look at Master Roshi, you look at, all of that kind of stuff. You always generally have one.
That makes sense.
And so, but, like, so maybe they were going off of that, or maybe he was planning that all along, and like definitely him taking himself out of that fight because bro, do you remember whenever like Zuko launches the fireball at Appa in like season 1?
The only time Iroh ever like fires on Aang or attacks Aang in any way.
Yeah, and it's just like a little poof, and it barely goes anywhere.
Yeah. And
I'm like, bro, there's like Iroh probably could have jet stepped up there and just
he was just so clearly not trying for the whole season 1. Like the Pai Sho tile, the fucking let me finish my dinner stuff. Like he was just so unserious about Zuko's whole plight of finding the Avatar.
Yeah, he's just really trying to help Zuko. He's just trying to be a bro, dude, because he knows his dad's a turd.
So like, is it Iroh being an old man making a pervy joke? Maybe, but is it like way more fun to read way too into it? So much more fun.
So much more fun.
So much more fun, dude.
The thing is, too, is it's the only thing that Iroh ever does that's not without, like, I feel like specific purpose.
Yes.
Or is just really different from his very, enlightened wisdom, very respect-based culture.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's so weirdly out of character that it makes sense that it's like a ploy or like a
And then I like
tactic.
I like it in the Netflix live action where they switch it up on him.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Where June's the one hitting on him.
Yeah, which
so funny.
It makes so much more sense than Iroh making that creepy joke. Like it's a funny thing to say, but
freaking Dilf.
He's a Dilf.
Gilf.
Yeah. Especially by the time he gets in prison and doing all those sit-ups and pull-ups, bro.
Yeah, she didn't even see him jacked.
Yeah, she saw the before picture. That's all the.
She likes him at his worst. She'll get him at his best, bro.
Oh, bro, she don't know what she could have had.
Blue 10 have a little brother.
God. Oh, fucking hell. That's all the topics I came up with, man. Did you have anything
So my biggest thing is probably the thing that I talked about on our Fire Nation episode, where it was Iroh talking about how where Iroh says, "If I could beat Ozai, and I'm not sure that I could," and I still think, man, that's him talking about, I'm not sure if I could piece up my little brother.
Yeah.
I think that's my probably hottest take.
That's our hottest one. That's going to be a good clip when the Firebender episode comes out, because you went on a long exposition about it, and it made so much sense. Like you had such a good point after point after point.
Yeah, that's the only that's the only thing off the top of my head that I can really think of. Yeah.
All right. Well, another Random Topics episode down, bro. We did all 4 ranking videos. We have planned to do non-benders. We're going to do avatars. We're going to do
animals.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The animals. Ranking the animals. We have all sorts of other. Just because we're done with the different bending disciplines does not mean we are done with
Avatar by any means.
And listen, if I can just scroll through Twitter and find 5 topics to talk for 40 minutes about, these episodes are going to continue to. So, yeah.
We might do a whole episode on where is Appa's butthole? I don't know.
Dude, where is it?
Because you see the whole underside of his tail. It's right here on this picture, bro. There's nothing.
Nothing.
Where does it come from?
It ain't there. What a good idea that would be. I'm going to have to write that down. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. This has been the very first Douglas episode. Doug-less, not Douglas. First Douglas episode ever. This is 63, 62.
69, nice.
Yeah. Ray and Ty.
Hey, what happened? Why are those squiggles on the screen?
Those are called end credits, Patrick.
End credits? But I don't want it to end!